financial industry. Thank you, Chris. Financial industry and a lot of nonprofits. When I retired from that, and by retired I mean I had two small children at home and a husband that worked a whole lot of hours, so I was a stay-at-home mom. I volunteered with a whole bunch of nonprofits, and that is where I, excuse me, honed my website skills and my computer skills and my social media skills. Let me get rid of this little sign here. So I've been a Region 13 faculty member for 5 years. It's been really fun, and I split my classes between technology and marketing and visual. So it's a wide range of things there. And you've probably met Chris or can see Chris Phillips. She's your host here. I cannot see the chat room, so she will be telling me if you have any questions or anything. And also, we're not so big that you can't interrupt. I won't see you waving your hand or anything. So anyway, on we go here. So here are the key takeaways that I want you to get from this class. We're going to talk, excuse me, of course I'd have an early class. We're going to talk about how to know and discover your course culture, your course's culture, and what that means. How to find the audience that you want to market to. How to create a marketing toolbox. And I expect we'll spend quite a bit of time on this particular topic. So hopefully that will help you. And finally, hoping that we'll have time, we're going to talk about marketing funding options, how you can not have to pay for all of this on your own. So off we go here. Let me see, I gotta do the next slide, maybe, there we go. So let's talk about identifying your course culture. So the first thing is, what do we mean by that? And I'd like to hear from you as far as what you think course culture means. Any thoughts, any comments?
So you can either unmute yourself and speak, or you can put it in the chat and I will relay it.
No? Oh, you're all not awake yet.
Well, I think it means kind of, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sally. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it isn't easy to define, but it's more of a feeling about how your chorus goes about doing its business, what it values, how it behaves, how we treat people, the things we like to do together, those sorts of things.
Sonia?
Sally took the words out of my mouth.
Right out of your mouth.
It might come from, I would say your values, your core values as a group, and that might come as a result of a group exercise, a survey, a discussion over time, revisiting those things, whether it's annually or, I'm in Song of Seattle currently, spent many years in Pacific Sound Chorus. And I think we are very clear. We know what our values are and how, just like Sally was saying, how we treat each other, priorities, whether it's, and there was a comment in the chat, whether it's like open division or competition or gigs and performances. So Good. It's an open discussion and it's revisited to keep us all on the same page.
Yes, and that comment from Cheryl, she adds that I think a focus on competition or more community performances.
Right. Well, excellent. You all got what I had written down, so I'm giving you all A's. So exactly, and it doesn't matter what your chorus culture is. That's a very personal thing from chorus to chorus. But everybody should be on the same page. If half your chorus wants to be competitive and the other half wants to do more community, or 3 and 3 and the other third wants to just be a social group, it's going to affect the kind of director you get, the kind of songs you sing, and most of all, how you would market, because you need to market your chapter to the people that want to be in the same chorus culture that you are. So that is something that you really should keep in mind. You just want to make sure, like both Sally and Sonia said, that you do, it's not a one and done. As the time goes on, you're going to want to revisit it. Different members in the chorus, different directors, all can affect your chorus culture. And until you know all that, it's going to be hard to target your marketing. And this is kind of my personal feeling, the boring part of marketing. It's way more fun making little marketing plans and everything, but you got to know what direction you're in. So that's my first big point for you all to take home. So let's see here. What do we have next? So any questions about that? Something that no. And one thing I did forget to mention: you don't have to do this all on your own. Every chorus gets what we call a Pep Visit, and I think it's preparing for excellent performances, if I got that right. And you just need to, that information is on the members only site, the Region 13 members only site. It's a free visit to your chorus, and one of the options is having someone come in and help you figure out what your chorus culture is. And is that right, Sally, President of the World for Region 13?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's see here. All right, so now we can go on here. Let's see here. Whoopsie, did I? Sorry, there's too many. We did that. Okay, marketing your course to the public. So what kinds of things can you use to market your course to the public? There's all kinds of things here. So first of all, this is my personal opinion, although it is backed up by a lot of information that I found on the always true internet. I strongly feel that every chorus needs to have, assuming you want to continue to grow and get people to come to your shows and events, a chorus website. And on that chorus website, you have to have where you're located, the city and the state. I have to go to other Sweet Adeline websites quite frequently, and I'm amazed at how often I can't tell where they are. And your name does not, unless it's like Seattle, Seattle Shores or Song of Seattle, you can't always tell. So be sure that on your website you have where you are. There needs to be some contact information, even if it's just a click here for information, and it will go to the webmaster and she can forward it on to whoever needs to do it. But you need to have some way for people to get in touch with you. You should also have some photos of your chorus and a little bit of about information. A lot of people aren't comfortable enough just saying, sure, I'll do that. They want to know what they're getting into. And so being able to see that you're all friendly women and that you sing this kind of music and that you have fun is a great impetus for them to want to check out your chorus. There are lots of free websites, free programs where you can get, there are lots of programs where you can get free websites. Some of them, Weebly, which is a really weird name, but has a very a good program that you can do. Square, Squarespace, WordPress. They all have free and they all have paid programs. So it depends on how much you want. But at least you're on the web. You have a web address to give out to people. You can also use Facebook as your chorus webpage. But you want to make sure that instead of it saying facebook.com/16548, whatever, because they will assign you a number, you want to be able to change that to facebook.com Song of Seattle, something like that. So that would be my number one tip. People are so used to looking things up on the internet now, and if you're not there, they won't be able to find you. So that's the first thing you want to stick into your marketing toolbox, and which I'm going to go right here. There we go.
Sue, can I add something to that?
Sure. Hey, Caroline.
You need to make sure that you tell them where your rehearsal is and what time.
Right. And yeah, true, definitely. And you can also, theoretically, they could do that in a an ask a question kind of thing. But yeah, the more you can get on there, the better. You don't want to overdo it. Don't use 200 different fonts. Keep it simple, make it easy to read, and keep it updated. That's the other thing I guess I kind of forgot to say. There's nothing worse than having links that don't work. So, or events that happened 4 months ago. So you want to keep that up. Okay.
So just to interrupt, Karen for Song of Seattle says they only use Facebook, so it is an option.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, as long as you have a web address that you can give somebody that they can go to when they're searching, that's great. Let's see. So then the other option, which covers a big portion, I'm getting my picture out of the way here, which covers a huge field, is digital marketing, or probably what most of us are familiar with as social media. I was talking before we started with Cicely about Amy Rose had a wonderful presentation on marketing to the marketing leaders, and I meant to find out if it's available to the public, and I'm going to write a note so I will.
It is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, so it's on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
That and her slides.
Okay, I will get that link and send it to you. But she goes into a lot of the how and the whys you would use Facebook over Instagram, over Meetup, and all that, and talks a lot about that. But for the purposes of this class, let me tell you what I think your course should use as far as reaching the most number of people digitally online. Facebook and Instagram would be the two leading ones here. Depending on the market, and again, this is where you need to know who you're talking to. Instagram is probably going to get you more of the younger generation. They don't think Facebook is cool anymore, but hey, what do they know? Facebook, the nice thing is that you can post something on Instagram and it will automatically post to your Facebook page. There's a way to set that up on Instagram, and that will kind of give you a twofer. The thing about using either one of those is you can't just do it once a month when something fun happens. You need to do it a couple of times a week if you really want to keep your name out there. The more that you post, the higher up the more likely you're going to be noticed by the people that are looking. And the really important thing is that your chorus members need to be in on this whole thing and share with their friends what the marketing person is putting on Instagram or Facebook. When you put it on your chorus website, the people that are in your chorus and other Sweet Adelines are going to see it, but that's not going to help you get new members unless your members share it on their page, because then all of their friends, and many of them will not be in the Sweet Adeline barbershop world, will see it. And that's how you get free marketing for your chorus. So you want to be sure to, you might need to have a class or talk one-on-one with people. Do it sometime before chorus on how to share posts that your chorus, that you've done on your chorus Instagram or Facebook page. Questions about that? Anybody? I know Facebook's and Instagram are kind of weird. The hard part about Instagram is you really need to do it on your phone. You can't do it on your desktop. And for people with bad eyes like me, that's hard, but it's possible and it's fun. Okay, so another good thing to put in your marketing tool is Meetup. Have you all heard of Meetup? It is a website that, let's say you're new to a town and you don't know anybody and you want to start making some friends. So you go to Meetup, you sign up, and you type in singing. And all the singing groups that are nearby you will show up. And if your chorus is one of them, they can go to your Meetup page and they will see, assuming you keep your page updated, when your rehearsals are and what to do if they want to come visit and where you sing and what days your rehearsals are. And so it's very helpful for them to find. A lot of these people are new to town, or they want new friends, or they just want to get out and do some stuff. So it's a really fun place. Now, Meetup does have a fee. Do any of you Jet Cities has had a lot of success with it. Pride of Portland has not. Do any of you out there have any meetup stories you want
So
to?
Sally and Linda are both raising their hands. Marianne's raising her hand.
Cool.
Any stories to share?
I'll chime in. We have had quite a few people come and check us out because they saw us on Meetup. So it's a good tool. It does work.
We found that we get people who sang years and years and years ago, lost touch with it, and they're just shopping around Meetup and looking for things to do. And they find us and they go, that's pretty interesting. We got a good member out of it that way.
Cool.
Since we started meeting in person about 2 months ago, we've had 5 guests who have been coming regularly, and they all found us on Meetup. So we've had a lot of success with it.
Cool. Well, that's great. Yay. So perhaps I need to talk to Ashby about Pride of Portland's meetup page. Okay, so let's see. Then we also have, I'll make sure I have the other, go ahead.
Ashby, did you want to say something? You need to unmute
I
yourself.
just wanted to say is that for our marketing team, I'm blessed to have a fantastic one, in my opinion. And I have we have different people that are just going on to Meetup or the different social media options, and I take pictures. Sue takes pictures. We try to get stuff up, as soon as possible, and I think that's kind of gives a presence of that stuff is fresh. And what I don't know is how do you get rid of? I mean, it's when something is that you, Sue, to kind of take stuff off that's been months old.
Take stuff off of what?
Off our website or our different places, wherever you put. Is it just in there forever? On the different medias.
Well, it is there forever on Instagram and Facebook. I guess you can delete them, but they're meant to be there forever. Websites are different; those can be updated, and you should make sure your website's updated. I will tell you, as the webmaster for many websites, the webmaster doesn't check the website out every day. So if something has gone past, especially if you were in charge of it, just drop them a note and say, hey, you can take this down because it's over. Especially for big websites that are pretty involved, it's hard to say. But yes, unless you specifically go in and take something out of Instagram, I mean, you can delete posts from both Instagram and Facebook, but they're meant to kind of just scroll down and have new things on top of them. And sometimes you want people to be able to look at what you have done, and there will be a date on it so they would know that it's passed.
Yeah.
Some posts can be pinned, so you keep them at the top, which is, what you'd want to do. Rehearsal canceled tonight. You don't want anything on top of that. You want that to be the first thing somebody sees. But then, yeah, you don't want that up for the next week's meeting because then they'd miss too. So. Okay, so let's see here. There's also print marketing, which we don't really use anymore because I've got to tell you, to put an ad in the newspaper is very expensive. They charge you by the column inch. So however wide a column is by an inch high is a charge. And if you think about a 1 inch by 2.5 inch ad, that's $100. And you want a 3x5 ad, it's pretty expensive. And a lot of papers do have nonprofit rates, but it's still you're not going to be able to get a whole page like, I don't know, the local auto dealer does or something like that. But there's times when it might work, especially the smaller communities, and that's where they have a huge advantage over choruses that are in bigger markets, because it is a big deal. stuff that you do in smaller communities. So definitely check that out. Give a call to the advertising department of your community newspaper or even a neighborhood newspaper, and see what they have. There, and I had print marketing. I have, okay, so let's put this under other. There are a lot of newspapers, from the Seattle Times to the little tiny Federal Way Mirror, that have online versions. And among those online versions are calendars. And you fill out the calendar online. And for example, our little tiny Federal Way paper, the same company does Little Tiny Federal Way and Little Tiny Kent and Little Tiny Auburn. And so you put your event or your rehearsal, whatever, on the Federal Way page, and it goes out to the whole surrounding area. So you get a really big bang for nothing. I mean, it's free, and you just have to go in and do it. So that is one thing that I would suggest that you take a look at. And you could put a weekly rehearsal up there. You would have to do it each week. That's probably a little bit better for special things, like if you're going to be singing in a park or you have a performance at a retirement home or something like that, just to keep your name out there. And it will go out to other papers normally in your area. And that also applies to the big papers, the Oregonian or the Seattle Times. You can put your event in there. It's very tiny, but people that see them are looking there on purpose for something to do. So that's something to keep in mind.
Sonia's added a comment about online green ads. I have no idea what that is.
I do not know that either. What is that, Sonia? Green ads, like the color green?
No, it's just meant to be, instead of an ad in the hard copy newspaper, let's say the Renton Reporter, right? Sue was just referencing your community newspaper, but maybe they have transitioned successfully with an online readership. And so maybe you get it for free, maybe there's a cost, but if I call it a green ad, it's green as in, yay, we're being nice to Mother Earth. It's not print and newspaper.
Online.
But it's an online ad or a banner that pops up. And again, it just depends on how effective is that, what's your relationship with your local editor. I've done it for events in Renton that, I work hard on, not necessarily chorus, but you never know until you ask.
Yeah, I forgot about stuff like that. Definitely good ideas. A lot of communities have nextdoor.com. It's kind of the same thing, but it's not a newspaper. It's more for events in your right next door to where you live, and that's another option. So those would be my two suggestions for others for more extra things to look at. Let's see here.
So Ashby has her hand up again. I just want to let you know, Sue, that you're 25 minutes in.
Okay, I got a couple minutes here.
Okay, go ahead, Ashby.
Okay, I was going to mention that for about 30 years, I've had a relationship with Barb Randall from the Lake Oswego Review. And she has put in a lot of, over the years, articles. Sometimes we've gotten like a half page or so of stuff that's happening, events or things that we'd gone to contest or whatever. I remember one time that their office was right next to my office in Coldwell Banker, and so I knew the guy that took photography. He went out and did stories and stuff too, and he saw my driving the caution sign banner that Sweet Adelines had, and had it in the in my window. So he did a article and he had that in there. I mean, it was so those are all freebies, and that's a lot of people can see that. Right. So don't be afraid to take a flyer to the local paper and say, hey, this is what's happening. We've had COVID going, and now finally we're going to do such and such, and it's been a crazy world for the last 2 years or two years. So don't be afraid. Go and talk to them.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, it certainly will never hurt to check with your members. Anybody work at a newspaper? Does your spouse work at the newspaper? Do your kids work next to the newspaper? Um, they're always looking for good stories. You might not be on the front page, but they could put you online, do do things like that, and you've got to keep at it. Um, that is not my strong suit. Ashby is the queen,
Oh,
and but you've got to take advantage of all those things. Another thing that I forgot that's another fun way to market your chorus is chorus swag. If you have a T-shirt that says Jet Cities on it, I attended a Harmony University class where they said that's really great, but you need to have Jet Cities, and underneath it put your web address. It doesn't have to be huge, but just jetcities.org so that they could see it and check you out. And you should make sure that all of your members have a business card. You never know when it would come in handy. You could be at the grocery store. You could be sitting next to someone on an airplane. They might not sing, but maybe their kids do. So that's you can get a ton of business cards and put them in little tiny babies and make sure that every member has some to stick in their pocket or their purse.
Came to me yesterday. I was at the dentist and I was speaking to the receptionist and we talked about our masks and I said, yeah, my chorus, we have to sing with our masks and we're singing outside. It's not the same. And the lady in the back said, you're in a chorus? And I said, yes. And she said, what kind of chorus? And I said, I'm a Sweet Adeline. You're a Sweet Adeline? Tell me about it.
They're so cool.
I pulled out an old business card. And I think, speaking about updating, I think we need to update that number that was on the front, but I put my number on the back and I gave her the chorus website. So yeah.
Good girl.
Just talk it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
These are all super wonderful comments, but I want to make sure that Sue gets through her discussion. So I would like, as people think of things like this, if you can put it in the chat. I'm actually going to do a cut and paste and put all these comments into a document so Sue has them for later. I just want to make sure she gets through everything she needs to say. And I don't want to interrupt, but that's, I think
don't know
it's
about
critical.
Chris, but I thought this was going to be an hour class, and then I realized it was only 50 minutes. So I'm talking rather fast.
You take an hour.
Oh, well, the next one starts, well, let's go through this here. So let's, and actually, well, we do have a little bit more time because I was giving us all 5 minutes. So what do some of those comments say?
Hang on, I was just cutting. Word of mouth is my drug of choice, Jean Ashby. We're also members of the Mount Vernon Downtown Association and therefore are notified of events where we may perform. Your local Chamber of Commerce also often have robust all community events calendars. All kinds of entities post community events on chamber type calendars. And our local paper had an A&E insert, monthly arts and entertainment, and groups would do write-ups and they would pick a different group to put in the A&E, but you have to resubmit often. And that's what is there so far.
Cool, great. Those are great ideas. And every time I do one of these classes, I'm like, I never thought of that. So hopefully you'll get something out of that. So now the question is, how do we finance all of this stuff? Because even making business cards costs something. So let's go here. So let's let's go back. So while we're discussing, what are some of the really cool ways that maybe none of us have ever thought of, besides somebody marrying a millionaire, to finance your course marketing efforts? Anybody? Speak up.
grant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll throw some things out, and maybe that will help tweak your memory. So there are actually a fair amount of free and discounted resources for nonprofits, which we all are as members of Sweet Adelines. And by the way, in a sec, I'm going to show you some web addresses, and it's very tiny, but I've sent it to you on a separate handout, so you don't need to write down some of these long web addresses. So there's a website called Canva, Canva, like canvas without the S, .com, and it is, if you are not design savvy or good at it, it's great. You go in there and you type in St. Patrick's Day and all of these, well, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of. Oh, I know a word, but it's just not coming to my head. Things, there's a good word for it, will come up and with different layouts and different, I don't know, titles and colors, and you can change every single thing of them. If it's a picture that you don't want, you can take it out and put in one of your chorus. If the text is a little different because it says, I don't know, come to our bank, and your chorus, you could say, come to our rehearsal. You can change all that and do it. It's and then you save it, and then you post it on Instagram, and then it goes onto Facebook, and you stick it in your website. So it's wonderful if you are not graphic oriented. It's all been done for you. You can even go in and pick Facebook post, and it comes up with the perfect size that will fit on your Facebook web, your banner, or in a post. It's very wonderful. The handout has the actual email address, or web address that you need to go to get into the to get the free nonprofit part, which is just the pro version. If you don't even want to do that, there's still an awful lot available for free. But I highly recommend it. It's almost overwhelming with the choices, but it's a wonderful resource. Another one is TechSoup, which is more for supplies. Like you can get a reduced rate for Zoom. You can get a reduced rate for Adobe Acrobat Pro. So for things like that, you can also get reduced rates on finance program if your treasurer needs some kind of accounting thing. Again, you just need to prove that you are a nonprofit. So that usually means you have to send them a copy of your either a tax form, or the little thing from Sweet Adelines that says you're an umbrella organization under our big nonprofit. Sometimes it's funny. Canva, I sent the exact same stuff to Canva for Jet Cities and Pride of Portland, and they accepted Jet Cities, and they are not accepting Pride of Portland's. So I don't know if it's the date. I need something more current. We're trying to get that figured out. But those are some really great resources. Also, Office Depot offers what they call a store purchasing card. You just have to be a nonprofit, and in my opinion, the best thing about it is it gives you hugely discounted prices on printing. So if you get business cards and they're in color, I'd say it's a good third lower. If you're printing a program for your show, they do all that, and you just give them your little store purchasing card, and voila, they take that off, and it's a wonderful thing. It also, you can buy paper. You could buy, if your chorus needs an easel board for something that's coming up. Anything in the store is discounted. So it's a really good thing. And name tags, you could get name tags too. So be sure to keep those three things in mind. Another option for marketing are community partnerships. This is a little bit more work, but a whole lot of benefit is behind it. Maybe you can pair up with an organization that's doing some good in the community. Like one that comes to mind is the Figgy Pudding Contest. A lot of, I know Seattle and Portland have them, where you send a quartet or your chorus and you sing, and it's kind of there's groups on all these different corners, and people vote on you by donations, and the money all goes to a cause, but your chorus gets a whole lot of recognition in the neighborhood, And of course, you can have a sign out and say who you are, and you can pass business cards out and stuff. But you're working together with the community for a fun thing. A lot of times, local groups in your particular neighborhood will have something going on. You can volunteer to help if it's like a fun run or something. Just being out there and wearing your T-shirt and a name tag and having business cards available is going to get recognition with your group for other people. They might not all run. Maybe they're just there to watch and they'd prefer to sing. So if you weren't there, they'll never hear about it. You can sing the Star Spangled Banner at a local baseball game, or you can kick off a race with the Star Spangled Banner. You can sing at a senior center. You can sing at a school. All those kind of things are great ways to get out in the community. They may not help you literally, they may not literally give you money, but they will bring you more recognition, and those members will help build your coffers in the chorus. And you can also pair up with an organization to help their fundraiser, so they will help on your fundraiser. Pride of Portland, boy, help me on this, Ashby. They paired up with the hemophiliac something and helped at some of their races, and also with a food network where we would have a trunk night once a month, and people would bring in food, and then we would take it to the organization. And so they in turn they would always promote us with their put a big thank you and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a good way to get the information about your course out into the community, because the more people that hear about you, more likely you'll get members or people that want to help in some way. And then there's paid advertising, which we've talked about as far as newspapers and stuff. Again, it's like Sonia was saying, the online versions are probably going to cost less. They do have nonprofit rates, but they're still pretty spendy, unfortunately. Let's see. But sometimes it's worth it. Say you're bringing in, I don't know, Celine Dion to sing on your show. That would be worth the advertising, okay? But if you're bringing in, I don't know, my particular quartet, it's not worth the advertising. So gotta use your judgment on that. Let's see here. What do we got here? So theoretically, we've got 10 minutes. Sweet. We have been talking about course culture. And I think it sounds like you all understand this, but you've got to start here. You got to know where your course wants to be headed, so that you can tailor your marketing to that. Otherwise, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. You'll be attracting people that won't be happy in your course. They won't stay long. It's discouraging to your course. You just want to make sure that you keep on top of that and check in every year or two, and or when something monumental happens. You have a new director. You suddenly got 10 new members from a very successful member drive. Just kind of check in. It never hurts to hear what's going on. Make sure that your management team is open and willing to take comments from chorus members, so they feel comfortable talking about that. Find your audience. That ties in a whole lot with your chorus culture. Your chorus culture is definitely going to tell you who you should be performing for. If you're going for contest, you want to get out there and put your best. Not that everybody wants to put their best foot forward, but you want to put shows on. You want to get bigger audiences, because you're going to need the money to get to international and to do all those coaches. If you're not that driven and you're all about entertaining people in your community, then that's your audience, and you get to do the shows in the parks and the Christmas carols and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you have that checked off. The marketing toolbox. Once you know these top two things, your marketing toolbox is going to help you find the best way to market to them. That's why it's called the marketing toolbox. And identify any funding options. I was going to say maybe you just need to have a millionaire join your chorus, but that is not a good option. Here is this is the team that created this outline. So me, Christy Hedrick, she's up in Alaska. I couldn't find a font that was easy to read Christy's email address, but it's AK like Alaska, Alaska Gal. That's a 106. It's not an L, or excuse me, it's an L. It's not a 1. So Alaska Gal 06 at Gmail, and Judy Galloway. Their information is also on the handout that I sent you. And here's some additional resources that we were talking about earlier. Actually, these were ones that I didn't talk about. This is, so Course Connection is a group with choruses that join as members. And there is a cost with that, but they have a free blog, and there are very interesting and useful blogs that they post about once a week. This one is from 2017, but it is still quite useful. It's right up our alley, Marketing 101, the importance of your choir's brand. Another one, this is about important elements that your website should have. Here's one, a nonprofit marketing toolkit. And this is a Zoom chat with Renee and Porzel and Jen Zucker. You have to sign into Sweet Adeline members only site, but it's a great story. Jen has had a lot of success marketing her chorus, and the Zoom chat is full of some good information. And then here is the web address for Canva and TechSoup and Office Depot, which says nothing about Office Depot. That's why it was hard to find for me. Anybody else have any resources that we might want to add to this list at some point? No. So we still have 7 minutes. Do we want to just share some? I'm going to stop sharing here. And there you all are. How about people just share some successes that you've had? Keep it shorter so we can get a bunch of them. I'm going to start with Charlene.
Mine wasn't anything about successes. I just want to make sure I didn't see any handouts, Sue, and I really would love to have the handouts. I saw handouts for the other classes I've signed up for, but for some reason, is there any way we can get them?
Yeah, I sent them out yesterday. You did not.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
And
How were they sent out? Under what?
An email. I sent an
Email
Yeah.
from you? From you?
Yeah, from you.
Yeah.
I didn't get it either.
Okay. Well, I will do that today. So
thank you very much.
yeah, it was the I'm sorry, because it had the PowerPoint and places for you to take notes. And
Well, that's great. Yeah.
it was very
I
thoughtful
didn't
of you.
either.
Too bad you didn't
got
get
it.
I can
I was-
upload
yeah,
them
if
right
we-
now to the chat if you want. I can upload the both handouts.
That'd be great.
But I think sending out a follow-up email with the links would be
Yes.
helpful as well.
I can do that.
That'd be
Ashby.
great.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Ashby.
Yes, I've got a few.
We are
things.
heading towards the holiday season, and it is my favorite time to go searching for talent in the community. I go to the malls. I haven't gone lately because of COVID, but I will sneak myself in there, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, the music's going on in the music act for the mall and the stores. You can hear people singing. I mean, it could be going through the racks, and you can hear them humming. And immediately, I that's my cue to go and talk to them.
So Ashby, I know you're really good at this, and this is what I'm hoping you'll do. If I gave you 1 minute, 30 seconds, because even we've got only 3, what would you say to me if you heard me humming in the grocery store?
Okay, you're humming, and I would say to you,
All right,
excuse
let's say I was singing in my low bass voice. La, 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 la.
Yes, and because that's what I usually look for. I would basically just say, excuse me, could I ask you a question? Never had anybody say no.
Uh-huh.
I said, I couldn't help but notice that you were humming along to the music and, oh, was I doing that? And I go, well, yes, that's what I heard you. Because sometimes people do and they don't know they're doing it. And I'll just say, I just happened to notice your voice is on the lower side. Did you sing in, were you in public speaking, drama, or choir in school? And usually they'll, well, public speaking, or they'll give me something. And if they say no, and I say, then I switch to the next question. When you're in your car by yourself and the radio's on, you ever sing along the radio? And invariably they'll, oh yeah, I do all the time. And I said, well, that's phenomenal. I said, you know, schools only give you two parts, sopranos and altos, basically, or SSAA. I said, but you're over here. And this is gold. Diamond Dozen Airheads leads. I am one, so I can say that. And basically, I just start opening up the conversation. And I give them my card. I have the cards that you designed, and I have my name and number already printed on them in my pocket, ready to go. And so it's the word of mouth is the segue to giving them the card, have them check out our website, and yada yada yada. And it's I got 3 just the other day.
Yeah.
So when you can't, it's Christmas holidays. It's phenomenal time. People can do it, and it's free.
Yeah. The nice thing about putting your own name and phone number on the back of a business card is they've met you. They figure you're not a creepy stalker. They don't know. It's more comfortable for them to call someone that they've at least met than to make a cold call to a blank phone number. Anybody else have any great ideas? I'm boring anyway. Oh, Caroline, you're muted.
Our chorus invites people to sing with us for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So in September, we have 4 weeks that we invite people to come in and sing, see if they like it. And if they stay for Christmas, inevitably they stay as a member. A lot of our members were Christmas singers at one time. They pay a nominal fee each month, and then they perform with us at Christmas. There are probably 8 to 10 songs that they have to learn in order to sing with us. However, Gail will usually give them, these are the most important songs you have to sing. And so far, in the 30-some years I've been in the chorus, we've never had anyone not learn all the songs. It's phenomenal. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, my brain. That's nice. I think that having them pay a nominal fee kind of has them buy in a little bit to the.
If you put a price tag on something, it means more.
Yeah.
So what kind of fee would you charge?
I think it's $25
for the whole
month.
Oh, per month. Okay.
Per month. And you know, at first we didn't charge anything, but I contend that if you put a fee on something, it means more to someone to pay for it than to just get it for free. Yeah. You appreciate it more, right. And you show up because you paid for something. You show up for rehearsal.
Right. Plus, they feel a part of something rather than just tagging along.
Yes.
And who's your audience for your Christmas show?
Our community. We have a Christmas show on Friday night and Saturday. We do a lot of community singing. We sing for parties. We sing for the malls. We actually do singing Christmas cards. You can buy a Christmas card and we'll telephone their family in Canada or lower 48, and we sing for them. We sing a Christmas song for them, and we also send a message with that song.
Charlene.
That's a lot of Christmas singing.
I was just going to agree with Carol Ann that we've always had visitors for Christmas, and they invariably have. Couple of them will join afterwards. And then we started not this last year, but when we did it this year though, when we do the Star Spangled Banner, we invite our guests to join us. In fact, this last time, which just kind of blew me away, we actually have an outfit that we wear. They actually went out and bought the outfits to match. And now they're going to be auditioning. So the more you kind of let your member or your guests join you on something as small as the Star Spangled Banner has been great.
Cool.
Hi, Charlene.
Yeah.
Hi, who said that?
That's Carol Ann.
Hi, Carol Ann. I was told, yeah, I was gonna say with Carol Ann, their community supports that chorus so much. They are so well loved. They do great.
So one last comment because we're out of time. Karen, I see your hand up. No.
Oh, I didn't put my hand up, but I can talk. So one thing we're trying that is new this year is we went from Meetup to doing Facebook events. So we've just started posting our weekly rehearsals on Facebook as an event. So that means, and because it's public, anybody who's looking for events, that are in that realm, in the singing world or choral world, will find them. And then for our guest nights, we're going to boost those, so basically pay for ads to actually target women ages 18 to 70 or whatever it is, within a certain geographical region as well. So that's because we have done Meetup for the past couple of years and I know we've gotten a couple of members, but we're just thinking that everything seems to be in Facebook. And I remember Amy in her talk said, do one thing really well. So we're kind of putting all of our eggs in Facebook, and we'll probably add Instagram to it at some point as well, but just trying the Facebook events.
Yeah, I forgot about boosting ads, which is you basically, like Karen said, target an audience, and you say, I only want to spend $50, and when you spend the $50, it goes away, so you can budget your time. So thanks everybody for coming. It was early on a Saturday, and I appreciate you all being here, and I hope I didn't talk too fast. And I will send those things out to you. All righty. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sue.
Bye.
Bye, thanks, Sue.
So